Hey everybody, welcome to another entertaining episode of The Quick Draw. I'm your host, Mike, founder of the Owner Young Guns, and with me is my partner and co-host, John. How's your week, John?
Frustrating.
Oh, what'd you do now?
What? No, what did I do? What do you always do? I did something. No, somebody stole my debit card, actually. I had to get that reissued and canceled and charged a bunch of crap to my account, so I had to get that.
Fucking homeless people.
Probably because I keep giving them food instead of money.
I'm actually kind of excited and a little bit nervous tonight because we have a really cool guest. My stomach's kind of bothering me, actually. It could be because I'm nervous, although it could also be menstrual cramps, apparently, or so I'm told.
It could also be related to whatever it is that's making your nipples magenta. Might be related.
That could be it too. But I found out today. Today I learned on Twitter, like, you can actually have menstrual cramps without a menses. Who knew? Science. It's awesome. It's the coolest thing ever now. You think with the advances that we've made, like, you would have, I don't know, a cure for cancer or solve world hunger. No. We give men periods because that's what they've always wanted.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Like I seem to recall once a month, because I have two younger sisters, right? And my mom, and all three of them, same time, very hormonal. They're gonna kill me if they ever watch this episode. Thank God they don't watch the show. But I seem to recall being reminded once a month for like a week. Oh, thank God I'm a dude and I don't have to deal with this shit.
I've said that constantly.
Like now we've got men. They're like, no, you can't take this from me. I am a woman and I have menstrual cramps too. I'm like, why would you want that? Like, I can understand wanting boobs. Like, I'd play with those puppies all day if I had, if I could do that. But why? So tonight we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the left's obsession with grabbing people's problems and assigning them some kind of identity status. With us to discuss that is at Alaskan Courtney. Courtney, welcome to the program. How you doing?
Good.
It's good to have you. Thanks for coming on. Now, you have your own struggle that you talk about a lot on your Periscope. Fibromyalgia, right?
Yeah.
Can you go into a little bit, what is that and how does that affect your daily life?
It's a chronic, widespread pain condition. On a good day, I feel like I have the flu body aches. And on a really bad day, I can't move. I can hardly get out of bed and I literally barely walk. Fortunately, I'm in pain pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So what causes that?
They don't know. The thought, now I don't keep up with the research like I used to because I do everything they tell you you're not supposed to do and it works for me. But the thinking last time I was following it was some kind of trauma, emotional or physical. And I've been in numerous car wrecks, not with me driving for the record, but I have been in numerous.
The lady does protest way too much. It's okay. We all know that women are bad drivers. It's okay. Which funny? Do you guys ever watch Ricky Gervais? He does a funny bit where he talks about like Bruce Jenner, who has done great things for transgendered folks. Not exactly the best thing for female drivers, but you win some, you lose some. So okay, so I'm a little familiar with this actually because I had my best friend in college actually was diagnosed with fibro. And he was the same thing, like always in pain, constant migraines. Like it was so bad, it actually caused him like depression.
Oh yeah.
So what's interesting, and I'm glad you're here to talk about this because anybody else see Ant-Man and the Wasp? I haven't seen that yet. Have you seen that, John? You're a big nerd.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I was going to say I'm a person who's not at all concerned with spoilers, so I don't mind reading reviews and things like that before I see a movie. But yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert. Apparently, the villain in the series, I don't know the specifics yet because I haven't really followed, but the villain in the series, and Courtney, I think you read this review because you told us about it. Like the the villain has something like fibro, right? They have this constant pain, and or at least when she uses her powers, it causes her constant pain. And they find out. I guess they find a way to cure it.
They're trying.
The right. Okay, but is that why she's a bad guy? Like she's like, okay, I'm going to rob banks to fund research or something.
I have no clue. I know nothing at all other than the review. I had never even heard of it, but somebody had posted the review.
So yeah,
SJW garbage it was, and so I read it, and I got really pissed for a couple of days.
Yeah, that was funny because I was donating plasma today, and I was telling the lady that was sticking me in the arm, and she has fibro, which I'm amazed that she stuck me in the arm and it didn't like miss. But she was telling me about like, so, yeah, she's like, she would love to get rid of this, and in the review they talk about how like curing the bad guy or wanting to cure the villain of their problem somehow was problematic because
for the record. Yeah, for the record, it's at the Daily Beast, and yeah, they're basically saying that first of all, the villain is a woman of color dealing with chronic pain, and that what is it? It says filmmakers hamper this depiction, which could have furthered the conversation on race and disability with ableistic tropes, including desire for a miraculous cure, which I gather is now a bad thing that we want to cure anything. So apparently that whole thing when we joke about a cure for cancer, we're actually harming people by saying we want to cure it. Obviously people are supposed to just die of cancer because reasons. So we're not supposed to cure anything.
I mean, that's the thing here. Like if tomorrow, and that's Courtney, I send you a message. I'm like, Courtney, I have a cure for fibromyalgia. We've tested it. It's called, FDA's approved it. Do you want this cure? And I'm going to give it to you for free because I'm such a nice guy. I'm not really that nice. I might capitalize on it a little bit. But
say anything wrong, I'm going to tell Elaine.
I'd sell honestly. It sucks. Living in
right. So that's my point. It's like I give you, if somebody offers you the cure, you're gonna be like, nah, man, I am like my fibro is. I'm a spoonie man. Like hashtag spoonie for life.
It's amazing because
pressing me.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just because I think what it is very simple. Because of that whole idea of the progressive stack where everyone's value is derived from their so-called identity, if your disability is your identity and your identity is your value, then if you cure said disability, you no longer have any value. Especially, God forbid, you're a white guy, because again, that same article points out that, it's very, very concerned about the fact that it says film portrayals of disability often ignore race. The majority of disabled characters in mainstream media are white men. Ooh. And so
wait. So they want to argue that we need to give black people polio. Is that what's going on here?
I say we fire back
Social justice now demands we give black people some kind of disability. Let's just make half of black people cripples. Okay.
Apparently AIDS counts, right? I mean, that's an easy one to spread around, I would think.
Well, I mean, Haiti's already got that covered, so we're
good. Yeah, so apparently, but I think that's what it is that if your disability gives you value, I mean, like I said, right now, in the progressive stack, you are a white woman, but you're disabled. So therefore, the disability moves you up in the stack. The minute you lose the disability, you drop off because now you're just a white woman, and we can't have that.
The Oppression Olympics. So that's actually a good question. So Courtney, in the Oppression Olympics, where does fibromyalgia like stack? Like, is it gold? Is it bronze?
Probably bronze.
It's not quite up there with like, I don't know. What disabilities out there? I guess I'm just a shitheel because I don't really think about disabilities. I think of like blind people, but if it wasn't for blind people, we wouldn't have Helen Keller jokes. So I don't think we can
blind and deaf. I was going to say. you have deaf people, and then you have blind, deaf, can't walk. I guess crippled in some way.
So Garth Haycock in the comment section with regards to Black people with disabilities, sickle cell anemia isn't enough. That is a great point. Excellent point. I'm actually going to educate you guys. There's some really cool science here. Sickle cell anemia, well, is problematic. Like there are health issues with regards to sickle cell anemia. I learned about this in college. I actually did learn some things in college. There is, it's also an interesting defense mechanism against malaria.
It is.
Yeah, sickle cell anemia, the sickle cells, the blood cells that have that sickle shape, will not rupture when the malaria parasite enters the bloodstream. So even though they have health issues with regards to the sickle cell anemia because they're anemic, they don't get malaria. So, you know, if you win some, you lose some.
I won't waste the time, but yes, I could literally explain in detail exactly why sickle cell gives resistance to malaria. But I won't do that because we don't have enough time.
It's not that kind of show either. We promised people we would only bore them so much.
Not a biology lecture.
Well, we'll get Bill Nye the Science Guy to talk to us about it, maybe. It's not that kind of show either. So,
yeah, I was just saying.
Now, Courtney, is fibromyalgia covered, like, say, for example, under health insurance? Like, are you taken care of by that? You are?
Yes, but
that's a very unenthusiastic yes.
Pre-Obamacare, I had all the care that I needed. I had unlimited alternative medicine. And alternative medicine is what I need. I use chiropractic a lot, massage, osteopathic. I had a really good acupuncturist. I was doing acupuncture. Well, now I went from paying under $800 a year for that, for unlimited benefits, to $3,700 a year.
Holy shit! Big difference.
Visits.
Wow.
So what's the rationale behind that? I mean, is it? I mean, you have a disability. The left is. I thought the left was all about caring. We care. We care. We're so caring. We love people.
Or you should see them when I talk about Obamacare. Oh my! I mean, they're horrible. I would rather go up against the feminazis than go up against the healthcare people.
I don't know. That free bleeding thing is enough to ward me.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, not to mention who dyes their armpit hair. But anyway, keep going.
Okay, the fact that they even have armpit hair is a problem. That's okay. Dyeing it is the least of my worries at that point. Like, you know, braiding it, dyeing it. The fact that it's there, go just wax that shit. Come on. Hashtag patriarchy.
Because men don't have to do it, so therefore it doesn't. It's patriarchal. But well, the thing is, okay, so Obamacare. It's funny with Obamacare, really, because I think largely one of the reasons that the prices jumped up so much was because of all the mandates that got added on. There's actually an article. It's an old article. I think it was last updated like 2014, but like from the Objective Standard that goes through the entire history of how modern health insurance became what it is. But it actually, part of it is the mandates, though. It's basically telling insurance companies any policy you sell must cover this list of things, no matter what, even if no one needs it. Like if you must cover maternal care. What if I'm a guy? Doesn't matter. You have to carry it. You know, and thus the price goes up. So Obamacare introduced a crap ton of new mandates, federal ones, which increased the price of insurance across the board.
Well, and now apparently we have to mandate Midol for men,
right?
Because men can have menstrual cramps. There was this. Did you guys read the thread on Twitter? Like
I read some of it.
This trans woman. I quote tweeted some of it, and then I'm just like, this is too stupid. I can't. This is too stupid even for me to respond to. Like, I can only mock stupidity so much before I start to feel like I'm playing dodgeball with somebody from the Special Olympics. Like, it's not fair. It's really not fair, and I feel like an asshole. But some of the things this person was saying was like, well, they're like, physiology is plastic and not hard set, and I'm like, You mean psychology? Psychology, I'll give you. That's kind of flexible. Like that's why you think you're a chick when you're a dude.
Physiology, not so much. Yeah, physiology, not so much.
That's based on anatomy, which last I checked is pretty hard set. What are you gonna say, Courtney?
It's a party of science.
I know. Hashtag science. Well, they have Bill. You know, they have Bill Nye the Science Guy as their spokesperson. Like that.
Yeah. Then he had that show, and then they had that.
My vagina has a voice.
Dude, that one right there.
Bill,
like, okay.
Bill the vagina. I'm sorry if you watched more than 5 minutes of that show. I feel sorry for you.
I didn't watch it at all.
The only 5 minutes I watched was that piece because it made the news.
It was it made the news, and it was absolutely horrifying to watch because it made you wonder who thought it was a good idea to let her in public or let her sing at all.
But this is the problem. This is the problem with progressivism, right? You create an atmosphere of dependence where we celebrate dependency, right? It's one thing, like, okay, you got, Courtney, you have fibromyalgia. That's going to be, until we figure out what even causes that, we can't cure it.
Right.
So that's going to be something that plagues you your whole life, and that sucks, right? But there's a difference between saying, okay, this is a problem that you have. We're going to help and we're going to take care of you, and because we're compassionate people and we want you to get better, and we're going to do everything we can to help you get better, or at least to mitigate the suffering, right? And saying, no, this is who you are. This is what you are. You should embrace it. You should love it. You should accept it. Like, I think somewhere in the past, to help people, like kind of as a coping mechanism, we started to say like, no, you should embrace your whatever, right? Blind people should be, accept the fact that they embrace the fact that they're blind. And it just kind of snowballs from there. It's at some point it went from like, look, you're not a freak. There's nothing wrong with you as a person.
To you're better.
Problem.
You're better.
Yeah. To like, you're somehow morally superior to all these other normal people. It's like, what'd you say, Courtney?
They romanticize it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that's a really good point, because who are the people that are like saying, no, this is you, this is who you are, not the people that live with pain 24/7.
It's helping people. Piss off, lady.
Yeah,
I don't let people. If you want to be a dumbass, that's entirely on you. I very rarely let somebody get to me. I'm not proud, but I was pissed about that for 2 days. And I mean,
well, I would be too. And if I was in constant pain, I'd be a lot not as nice about it as you are. Like, I don't have pain 24/7, and I'm an asshole to people that annoy me with shit like that. Let's put it that way.
I'm always adamant. On my Periscope videos, I'm trying to reach out to other people with chronic illness and say, look, you don't have to accept that as your identity. That's just a part of who you are. And then here comes the social justice warriors. No, that's all your identity, and that's all you need to be.
Right.
Screw you. You're not the one that lives with it. We are. And it shouldn't be your entire identity, because that is when you get depressed.
Right. And that's
lay awake at night and think, why am I even doing this anymore?
Right. And that's where the SJW stopped caring, because the thing is that they don't care about you. They care about and again, this is no different than any other topic. This is no different than on race, on gender, whatever it is. It's all about, for them, they feel better about themselves.
Yes.
By saying, look how much I care about this person. If that person goes off, and because you told them this is who you are and forever and ever, and they go kill themselves, they don't care. They don't think about that. You're just one of a million. Again, for them, there is no such thing as the individual. You are faceless member of group disabled number whatever, faceless member of group white, faceless member of group women, biological women, or cis female, or whatever nonsense it is they come up with.
I think it's cis. A cyst makes women sound like a bit of a tumor. They're not a tumor. It's not a tumor.
Okay. I wonder if Freedom Recon's in the chat right now, because I was remembering somebody saying
it's
that
not a shoulder tumor either.
Yes. I'm just like, oh dear God.
Okay,
That
I
was
know
so
this
bad.
wasn't going to be part of the show, but I do want to point out that FR shoulders are incredibly hot. But that's just me.
Yes, they are. This is true.
I know that's a weird thing to compliment a woman on, but you know.
No, it's not.
Hey, no, it's not.
What'd you say, Courtney?
She put in the work. She's earned that compliment.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Now, okay, so Courtney, you do a regular Periscope. You talk about healthy life style choices, managing your fibromyalgia. You have a lot of really good energy. It's a lot of fun following you and engaging with you. So, okay, part of the problem I have with the left's approach to disability is it creates incentives to not fix the problem.
Yes.
Right? Why would I, if I have a disease or disability that I can capitalize on politically, why would I ever want someone to cure it? Especially if you can cure it just enough to where I can live a nice, long, healthy, happy life, but still, bitch about my problem. Like if I can cure it just enough and get the government to take care of me because of it, why would I ever want to fix it? And I'm not saying that everybody with disabilities does that, or that people with diseases, that's their natural mindset. But it is a perverse incentive, right?
Right.
So what would you say? Okay, so what are some of the things that you encourage, other people with fibromyalgia, other people with disabilities? Like, what do you say to them to kind of help them not be reduced to a one-dimensional character of my disease or my disability?
But first thing, I remind people often, you're not your diagnosis and you're not your illness. And I mean, really, you're only a victim if you choose to be. And I don't choose to be. So I tell people, listen to uplifting podcasts. Go find a good book that you like.
That was a nice little subtweet, by the way. Thanks.
Huh?
So that was a nice little subtweet. Thanks.
But it's true. If you listen to it, I used to be frankly suicidal from it. And I don't even know how I ended up getting into fitness, but I got into fitness, and that turned me on to more, I hate the term personal development, but I don't know what else you'd call it. And I started listening to all this, and every morning before I go to work, I put on somebody. I have 2 or 3 people that I really like. I put on uplifting podcasts, and it's all, you're a great person. You can go out and have a great day. But it's a choice. I wake up every day in pain. I have the choice to either feel sorry for myself and stomp around here acting like a whiny little bitch all day. But that doesn't do me any good. So why not just go? So it's a less than stellar day, but I'm still capable of getting my ass out of bed. There's millions of people out there who can't. And that's how I've had people tell me, well, you're dismissing the problem. No, I'm not. I have to keep it in perspective.
Well, okay. Now, what do you say to people like that? Because if I have a problems and I'm saying, because I love that. That's an inspiring attitude. If you don't have a disability, if you don't have a disease, and you see someone with it's still good advice. And if you see somebody, like I get down all the time, right? Like, we all have our good days and our bad days, and I have bad days, and there are times I'm just like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not happy in the moment, right? If I look at someone who's got it way worse than I do, say, suck it up, buttercup, I'm just like, I can't argue with this person. Like, I can't tell, I can't tell a woman who is in constant agony 24/7, you don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know how hard it is. Not without being like really stupid. That would just be... So what do you say to someone who says that? Like, you're dismissing the problem. No, I'm not dismissing it. I'm overcoming it, right? But
right. Well, I can't dismiss it, for God's sakes. It's not a freaking switch. So why dwell on it? It doesn't change anything. My only problem with healthy people are, we call you all normies, but when talking to me about their life, I don't have a lot of patience for it. And I just tell them very politely, well, here are some steps you can take to put yourself in a better mindset, but it's your responsibility to do that. I can't do it for you. And if you're gonna just come at me and whine, you're not gonna have my patience for very long. If you want sincerely want help, I will do everything I can. These are the resources I have found that have worked for me. These have worked for my friend. And if you're willing to try that, I'll help you. But if you just want to come at me and boo-hoo, piss off, I don't got time for you. I just
note to self: do never bitch to Courtney about my problems.
And I have to point out again, and just on the flip side, just like leftists don't love the idea of dependent people, there's nothing they hate more than a person in a so-called protected category that is self-sufficient. Because what, again, like you said, dependence is everything. And not just dependence on them specifically. You need to be dependent on them. You need to be crawling to me because I need protection from the crazy racists and ableists, whatever the hell that means, out there. And so, you know, you're supposed to be dependent on them. So when you, as someone they're supposed to be protecting, says, actually, I don't need your protection. I'm good. I can handle myself. They freak the ever-loving fuck out because the last thing they want is for you to say, I don't need you.
Which is a kind of disturbing pathology. Like, when you think about that's kind of the same behavior you see in domestic abusers.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, you need me, you're nothing without me, and if you think you can if you think you can succeed and live your life without me, I'm going to show you. I'm going to teach you a lesson. Like, that's kind of fucked up when you think about it.
Exactly. But that's exactly what they do. That's exactly. So they're basically abusers, is what they are. And again, I'm sure a lot of people will be like, oh my God, you can't make a blanket statement about all leftists. No, I'm saying that is the philosophy that you have. Now, each individual leftist may or may not take it seriously or take it seriously to varying degrees, but that is the philosophy. And you can either pretend it's not part of the philosophy and say, well, I just don't do it. Or you embrace leftism, in which case you inevitably are going to be that sort of person. And so,
right, and that's the left loves victim status, because somewhere along the line in this country, I mean, and America's always loved an underdog, right? Yeah. We've always championed the underdog. We always fight for the little guy, right? Even when the little guy's wrong, and somehow it's gone to such an extreme where if you're not a victim, and we keep we bring this up in episode after episode after episode. There's this whole thing about Marxism and how Marxism has kind of infiltrated left-wing politics, and it always boils down to the oppressor and the oppressed, right? Mm-hmm. If you aren't a victim, you're an oppressor. If you're not disabled, you oppress. That's where the ableist term, right? Which, speaking of labels, because you mentioned normies, Courtney, what does the term spoonie mean? Where did that come from? I just learned that term like this week.
There's an essay a woman with lupus wrote called The Spoon Theory, and it's to try to explain what it's like living with chronic pain. So to really, really summarize it, she's at lunch with a friend, and she's trying to explain to her friend what it's like living with lupus, and she grabs all the spoons that she can find off the other tables and hands them to her friend and says, okay, here's all the energy you have for the day. And she reaches over and takes a spoon and says, you just woke up. Not you got out of bed.
You woke up, right?
You showered, but you've woke up.
Wow.
And then you take a shower. There's 2 spoons.
Right. And you only have so many to work with.
Right. In fact, I hashtag it all the time. And it's so
it's not derogatory.
Huh?
It's not a derogatory term.
No.
Then. Okay.
No. In fact, there's a bunch of people who have, well, actually me too. I'm not going to show you because of where it's at, but we have spoons.
Hey.
It's not. I'm not flashing the world on your podcast, but
damn it!
Tried with Freedom Recon,
we tried with Freedom Recon. We tried with Alaskan Courtney. Sorry, guys. It's just never going to be that kind of show. Maybe we can get Cami Made in Chile to try this. Anyway.
Really? I'm saying nothing at all.
I've already tried to pimp out Oil Guns America for the show.
Oh god.
Unfortunately, he can't make it. You know, so pimping out my wife, it's not like a huge stretch, is it?
What? She's your wife, though. I mean, wouldn't that be a little bit worse?
Well, I didn't say the camera has to be on. Like, I'm just gonna.
Oh well,
like,
I guess that's
just turn the camera off, and guys, I swear to God, she's totally naked under here.
Yep. Well, I guess if the camera's off, I guess then it doesn't matter. And I'm sorry because I was going to say I heard the term spoonie, and I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a nerd. So, Courtney, I'm sure you won't know what I'm talking about. I don't know, but again, my only experience with the word is from the original version of Final Fantasy IV, which was the spoonie bard thing. Apparently, I'm the spoonie bard line from FF4, but anyway, I'm the only nostalgic gamer here.
I'm just gonna sit here and let a pregnant pause hang there.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm still saying it.
You feel and you think about what you've done, John.
I am thinking about it. I'm perfectly okay with it. I will wear that flag proudly. In fact, I will make it part of my identity. It is. I'm a gamer nerd, and so that being the case, I don't know where that puts me on.
Don't take that away from me. You can't.
Exactly.
I'm a gamer nerd. I'm disabled. Well, socially, a lot of them are kind of disabled. So maybe we should start. Maybe we should start like a special group, and then they could lobby the government.
Well, yeah, that's true. I was gonna say gamers. You know, gaming. Was it gaming addiction? I guess you'd say, or just gaming at all is a disability. Every gamer can now just sit at home and collect welfare. God, that'd be horrible.
Which, by the way, apparently, you know, there was a transgender individual from, I guess, England. I think it was England, talking about how everyone how work is not moral.
Oh,
and everybody has a right to somebody else's work. And everyone was just like, what?
Yeah, there's something about you shouldn't. These are food and shelter and all these things are human rights, and you shouldn't have to work for them. They should be provided for you, even if you don't work, and that there is nothing immoral about not working. Which
no, there was nothing moral about work.
Nothing moral about work.
Which is okay.
We're a country. We have plenty of money to do this.
Right.
Well, you know, I gotta ask, like, how privileged are we as society if we really have nothing better to do than sit around and bitch not just sit around and bitch, but sit around and bitch about the problems we don't have.
Right.
I'm not disabled. I don't have pain 24/7. I'm not blind enough. For those of you not getting the reference in the chat, somebody was nice enough to share a story. Garth Haycock again. Apparently, a couple of women who were pilots for was it Delta or United Airlines? United Airlines. They decided to sue United under the ADA, claiming they were denied employment because of their eyesight. Well, okay, I'm pretty sure this was back when you can't have eye problems and be a pilot. We don't want Mr. Magoo flying the plane. Is that a problem?
Just put the white cane out the window on landing.
You know what? You know, it could work. I did watch Magoo cartoons when I was a kid, and you know, nothing bad ever seems to happen to him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Look,
maybe he could just fly the plane and everything would work out just fine.
Well, maybe they could try that. I'm sorry, I was like binge watching the show Mythbusters recently, and they had one episode a while back where they tried to see if a blind guy could drive a car. And they were like, well, as long as the person giving directions is really, really precise, in theory, it could be done. So I say that's what we do. Just let blind people fly planes and just make sure whoever's giving them directions is like really precise.
I don't think we're far off from when the SJWs are going to start advocating that. Blind people have a right to fly planes.
I'm sure. It's there somewhere.
And cars.
As it is, I'm still waiting on them to start endorsing pedophiles again.
That's becoming way too popular.
What is?
Normalizing pedos.
Oh, is that a thing now? Jesus Christ. Is that a disability too? Is that...
Not yet, but they're trying
I can't help it. I like children.
Yeah, there's several accounts on Twitter that Jack won't pull down.
Well, there's a lot of shit that Jack won't pull down. because Jack thinks he's fucking invincible, and
Bradley Manning.
I long for the day when he learns that hard lesson that nobody is.
Yeah.
But I think that's the natural slippery slope, right? And it's funny because it wasn't too long ago that was considered a slippery slope fallacy with regards to like gay marriage. People said, well, if you legalize homosexuality on this premise, then you're creating a situation where, why couldn't we legalize pedophilia?
Yeah,
and the argument always was, the counter argument was, well, no, that's different because we're talking about two consenting adults versus a consenting adult and a child. Like there's all these different reasons why you can't compare the two, why that comparison is bullshit. And 20, 30 years later, it's like pedophilia. Now I have to kind of wonder if those are like Poe accounts designed to like make the left look stupid. I mean, not that that's hard to do. That's not really, really, really not hard to do.
Yeah, but then I'd have to wonder that about Salon, which I suppose it could be too.
What is it? LBG.
LGBTP.
Well, there's a bunch. I just sing the alphabet song.
It's like QIAA. There's a 2 in there now. I think a plus maybe. I know. Yeah, there's a 2 spirit. I think there might be a plus in there somewhere. It's like they're just adding symbols now. Soon it won't just be the alphabet. It'll be like /% @ symbol. Just like
I'm whatever. Somebody actually asked, like, what's the mechanics behind menstrual cramps for men? Because don't you have to have a uterus? Well, yes, you do have to have a uterus to have menstrual cramps. And this person that was arguing, that we were talking about earlier, this person, he's like, oh yeah, well, I have them, and I know lots of people that do, and I'm just like, that's anecdotal evidence, you dumb fuck.
Well, plus having abdominal pain is not the same as a menstrual cramp.
Right. So that's like my wife going, honey, I need mine. It's that time of month, and me going, oh yeah, I totally know what you're going through. I was at the gym today, and I pulled a hammy, and god damn, does it hurt?
It's the same thing, God forbid.
It used to be there were things about being a woman that men were absolutely grateful to not have to deal with. Right?
I still am.
Periods were one of them. Pregnancy was the other.
Childbirth, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, what? I think we should blame feminists for this, because feminists try to take those things as evidence that women are superior to men. Oh yeah, men don't know how hard it is because they don't bleed through their hoo-has once a month and deal with menstrual cramps and give birth. So they're weak and inferior to women. Are the real power behind the throne. And it's like, okay, yes, we get it. Pregnancy sucks. And we are ever so grateful we don't ever have to deal with it. But let's reel it in, girl. Let's reel it in.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden it's now, well, everyone can get pregnant anyway.
So freedom recon in the chat. I think my prostate is enlarged. Freedom.
Well,
we've all seen you in a dress. If you have prostate problems,
you're not very well hung.
I'm going to have to ask you to search this. Phenomenal work. Like, holy shit.
Well, now that I'm in a situation where you have men literally mansplaining, which I hate.
Right.
But don't come at me and tell me what it's like to have a freaking baby. You're mansplaining. But that's okay. Trans. No, it's not okay.
No, Courtney. See, you don't understand. I'm going to explain it to you. Okay? When a woman has pain, it's worse when a man has it. Why? Just because. Courtney's going to fly to Colorado and kick my ass for this one.
I love the fact that it's like, I honestly, dealing with the left is like dealing with, I'm trying to think
of... A child?
That too, but I was thinking of, like, have you ever seen the movie Oculus? I guess not. It's basically a movie where at no point in the movie are you ever really sure what's real, because every time you think something is, it just flips it on you and tells you that what you think is real isn't. The problem is that at no point do they ever establish what is. So it's the same thing here. It's like with the left, nothing is on sure footing. Just when you think that there are rules, the rules change, or the rules are just so malleable that they don't hold up under anything. So like the minute you think, okay, we've got the rules, 10, 15 years ago or 20 years ago, you could say, okay, we've got the rules. There are gays, there are lesbians, there are feminists. We hate them, but we understand how it works. Then like 10 years go by and suddenly the whole thing just gets flipped where it's like, okay, there are feminists, there are gays, there are lesbians, but also we're now completely throwing gender out, despite the fact that being gay or lesbian is dependent on gender. But hey, we're just going to throw gender out now. So now we don't know what a woman is. We can't really say who's gay or lesbian at any passing time because gender matters. A man who loves men is gay. But what's a man? Well, it could be anything. Well, then how
this
is
is
one
what
gay?
that's what I love about watching. Are you familiar with the term TERF?
Mm-hmm.
The trans exclusionary radical feminist.
Yeah.
I love watching TERFs and trans activists devour each other. It's awesome. I don't have to own the left because they're too busy owning themselves.
Right.
Now, Courtney, John kind of touches on an interesting point about like new rules. And a lot of people are, I think a lot of people who voted for Trump are happy with their vote because he's kind of taking those rules and using them against the left in very effective ways. What are your thoughts? So, as somebody who gets a lot of flack from the left because you don't fit the victim, you don't embrace their victim mindset, you don't accept their victim mentality. What are your thoughts on kind of a post-Trump America? Like, what do you like the way the new rules are being applied? Do you not like? If so, why? Why not?
I'm not a huge Trump fan, but
Okay.
Look at our option, Hillary.
Right? Yeah.
And you're gonna call me a bigot, and that's the best you could put out there?
Right?
Come on.
Bunch of stodgy old white people.
Yeah, that's why they have to blame the Russians.
I love that they own themselves. The media has been fascinating to watch through all this. CNN has completely mentally self-destructed, and it's
dear God. So cool. It is
our real news, Mr. President. We are real news. Did you see the Polish? Remember Poland, and the media was so excited thinking the Polish president snubbed Trump.
Right.
Well, it's kind of really petty.
Right, but it's so great to watch.
Oh,
it's so fun because
that the Polish president dissed on Trump. Then the Polish president himself got on Twitter and said, "That's not what happened. You are fake news." I about lost it.
Well, what's funny? What's funny about that is, so they're all like, "Yeah, the Polish president snubbed Trump," and then 5 seconds later, like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Trump didn't bow to the Queen of England. What the hell is wrong with him?"
Right. At this
what
point,
a rude asshole. I tweeted out, I'm like, I guess they're mad that he didn't give him an iPod full of his speeches.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. And you know what? The left at this point is not unlike my 5-year-old niece. She has no medium setting, okay? If any little thing goes wrong, anything, her first response is to start screaming, kicking, and just rolling on the floor. That seems to be the left. There's no medium setting. All they have to do to seem better is not respond to everything like the Nazis are taking over. But that's their response to everything. Everything.
Or maybe we just let's just start with baby steps. Maybe we don't suggest that men can and should have periods too.
Right.
I feel like that would be a big win for the left. Like,
a little bit.
I am managing my expectations here by keeping them exceedingly low.
Oh yeah, kind of like when I went to go see Solo. But it's
but Courtney, so were you never Trump before, or did you vote for Trump? Kind of hold your nose and vote for Trump, if you don't mind me asking?
Was it never Trump? Because look at our alternative.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a hold your nose kind of deal.
Stein, and who was, my God, what a he is, and McMuffin. They weren't viable candidates.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, I'll give you that. Because we did vote for the McMuffin, but that didn't
To
play
our
out well.
to our everlasting shame.
I'm not really super proud that I voted for Trump, but again, I had no option.
Right.
That I made the best decision with the options that were presented to me.
Right, and see, this is what the left refuses to understand. See, the left wants to pretend they offered something worthwhile and act as though the only possible reason you couldn't have voted for Clinton is because the Russians made you do it. That's literally their argument, because they got nothing else. I mean, how many things, what's the running tally on how many things Hillary has blamed for her loss? I think like 50 something now. Again,
I voted for Trump because the man told me to, because I'm not smart enough to make up my own mind.
Exactly. And then, not only that,
what do you say to someone like that?
I laugh and tell him to kiss my ass.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I would do. It's just like, honestly, go screw yourself. Really? You're gonna go and tell me?
Studies program for 6 long years.
Right.
What did they take away?
The big takeaway, it's victimology 101.
Oh.
They hated me. But
right.
I have had feminists try to tell me what I should think a lot more. The men in my life know better.
Exactly. See,
they know better.
I've said that on Twitter.
Tell us what to do. We may not flat out bitch slap you, but you will pay for it down the road.
Yeah, see, they haven't met you, Freedom Recon.
In your drawers, there's something we'll do to make you pay for it.
Right. Well, not that, and the fact that, you know, unlike, you know, their men can't figure out what bathroom to go to, our women actually know how guns work. And so the thing is that, like, I said that on Twitter, that, like, basically I was like, you know, because they're like, oh, the conservative women, I know they're conservative, they just do what men tell them. I was like, conservative men know better. Like, conservative men are smart enough to understand there are limits.
I'm gonna tell them to watch this episode and then ask them the question: How well do you think it would go over if I told Courtney who to vote for? I will. I do hope they understand our women are armed, right? Like, right. What are you gonna say, Courtney?
In defense of the feminists.
Really?
Now let me finish, because you're gonna like this, I think. The men were male feminists. I probably been too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You bring up a good point there. Because the whole Me Too movement now is kind of going out of control. Did you guys hear about Googate apparently is a thing now? So that surgeon that likes to suck the left's cock, he you know what I'm talking about, right? The little scrawny like Asian surgeon who apparently he's a bit of a predator, and he was catfishing as a woman. He created a female alternate account,
of course
so he could harass people, including an ex. Just a really creepy, vile guy. I mean, we all knew that. We've all seen his reactions to people on Twitter who are conservative. He's a really vile, scummy guy. But this is kind of the trend we're seeing now. It's like the whole Me Too movement, like this victim movement, is eating itself because the victims of sexual assault, the victims of abuse, are victims at the hands of their supposedly biggest champions.
No, they're allies. Yeah,
they're allies. Allies. That's right. Because champion would be like diminishing women.
Yeah. Well, champion is heteronormative and patriarchal, I'm sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean this, and again, it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, Courtney. Like, if you embrace that you are a victim all the time, right? Don't you kind of set yourself up to be taken advantage of by people who would claim to want to help you and really just want to use you?
Oh God, yes.
Sure.
When that's how you view the world, that's all you're going to get back. When you look at the world and you're looking for racism, that's all you're going to find. If you're looking for sexism, that's all you're going to. You're looking for ableism, which what the hell is that?
What the hell is that? I don't even know.
Horrible human being.
Yeah.
I'm an ableist. For the record, I'm totally an ableist. I would
Yep.
love to be healthy.
If I could cure your fibromyalgia, I would do it, and I'm sure the left would call me an absolute ableist bigot for daring to tell you that I
How
would
old
do
is that term? Do we know? Like, that seems like a really recent thing.
I almost don't want to look it up because I don't want that word in my autocomplete. But I might as well just.
I can't understand the mindset of thinking that, or assuming, creating a label that basically says that it's right, that it suggests that there is some kind of immorality, I guess, or moral inferiority to wanting people to be better. Like,
okay.
that's my biggest problem with this whole topic that we're discussing is I don't want someone who has fibromyalgia to have fibromyalgia. I want them to be healed. I want them to have a normal life, just like they do. I don't want someone who's blind to be blind. I want them to be able to see, just like they do. Well, there's some blind people that take that personally.
And there are people who can see who blind themselves because there was that one lady who poured bleach in her eyes because she was like, I feel that I was born in the wrong body and I should have been born blind.
I say that's Darwin at its finest. Let the gene pool sort that problem out.
Oh, but
well, that I mean, not for lack of trying. That could kill you. Like, kids, don't try this at home. But I can't imagine, and this is my whole problem with this topic, is the assumption is if I want to help someone, right? Isn't that what they say about conservatives? Like, how cold and cruel and callous we are because we don't want to help the poor. We don't want to help the sick. We don't want to give health care to people. It's like, I want to cure disease so we don't need health care.
Yeah.
Oh, now you're an ableist son of a bitch. What the hell's wrong with you? It's like, I can't fucking please anybody on the left.
If you would like.
They're never happy.
No, they're not.
No, it's a pathology. It's like I'm miserable and I'm going to make sure everybody else is miserable. So
ironically, their entire mindset actually requires misery. You can't not be miserable because the minute you're not, then it completely removes the need for them. Their entire purpose relies on the existence of misery to work. The minute they cure the thing that they say they're trying to cure, the need for them goes away. It's like the idea they say that doctors keep you sick because they want to have sick people around to cure. Otherwise, there would be no need for doctors. It's the same thing. There would be no need for leftists if people simply took their lives in their own hand, weren't miserable, and simply learned to live life.
But I would think most doctors, because my dad's a physician, and when Obama said that, he was pissed. He was livid. He's like, "Fuck you," because I think most doctors would gladly work themselves out of a job. That's why they become doctors, is to help heal people, and now I guess by the left's logic, if you want to go into medicine, you're ableist. Unless you go into medicine to violate the Hippocratic Oath, you're ableist. You're an asshole.
Or to kill people's young. That's right. That's the other legitimate reason.
If you're an ableist who's selfless enough to work for no money and to help, like that trans person from England who thinks that health should be free.
Right. Well then, yeah. Oh, and for
work is immoral, but somebody else should definitely work to take care of me.
And it was like, girl, I'm older than you. If anybody's gonna have figured out how to be a princess, hello, it would be me.
And I've earned my right for you to sit here and like feed me and take care of me.
Oh, for the record, I did look up the definition of ableism. If you really like to spend some time beating your head against the keyboard or random walls, I suggest the entry at Urban Dictionary, since it is absolutely just mind-numbing and
for ableist.
Yes.
Let's pass on that one. Courtney, you do a regular Periscope on your Twitter account at Alaskan Courtney, correct?
Yes.
Do you have any other? And what are some other ways that people can watch your stuff or get lifestyle or personal development tips? Do you have a website, anything like that?
I don't actually right now have a website.
No blogs, nothing. Okay.
time because I'm there waiting.
All right. So, thanks, Courtney, for coming onto the show. It was definitely great to have. It's nice to have somebody, because I like your energy. I really like your attitude. I think more, especially if you're dealing with something, it's good to see people that have it rougher than you say, you know what? This sucks. I hate it. I wish it would go away. It's not going away. So I'm choosing to overcome it. I'm choosing to deal with it. And if you don't like it, fuck you. So I think that's a very American attitude, I think. And I wish more people had it. So definitely follow at Alaskan Courtney. She's a wonderful friend of the program. She's got her Periscopes. You can't watch her Periscope and not come away from it just be like all pumped and like ready to conquer the world. So definitely follow her. Definitely watch her stuff. Make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're sharing these shows and these links with your friends on Twitter at ornery_opinions. Make sure you're following John at, it's now new. I'm gonna have to, Firelight Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Firelight Phoenix. Phoenix is spelled as F-E-N-I-X because apparently Twitter sucks.
Yeah, that would be it.
We all knew that. So thanks again, Courtney. Is there any final parting words you want to say to our audience?
Don't feel sorry for yourself. Suck it the hell up.
Phrasing.
And look, Bill Gates and the poorest person on the planet have the same choice every morning. You can get up and feel sorry for yourself and stomp around boo-hooing, or you can suck it the hell up and go out and just choose to be happy. It's literally a choice for the vast majority of people. It's a choice. Now, if you need help, I'm happy to help you. But if you're going to come at me just a whiny asshole,
ain't nobody got time for that. All right. Well, thank you very much, Courtney. You got a beautiful, positive energy. I love it. We will definitely have you back sometime. Just you can like make our audience feel pumped and charged. You guys, we will see you next week. We're gonna have another fun guest tonight or next week. So definitely want to see you guys. Hopefully, Courtney will be in the chat with us next week. So you can heckle us from behind the scenes because apparently Derek wasn't here to do that. So you guys have a wonderful week. Again,
my podcast. Oh hell no, it's on.
Yes.
Bring
Take
it.
him out. Drag him. All right. You guys have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week. And have a good night.
Thanks.